now. So, yeah, cool. Thank you, Per. So, hi everyone. My name is Michal. You can also call me Michael. I made this joke like 2 years ago, but please don't call me Michal. I hate that a bit for a reason. I'm from Prague, Czech Republic, so that's East Coast and beyond. That's pretty far East Coast from here. And I'd like to talk a bit about password reset features on the websites, and slightly also a bit about users and best practices, and a bit about near future. We're gonna recap a bit as well. So let's talk about users. You know, users forget stuff, right? They also forget their passwords because they are just told to remember them, and that's really hard. Did you guys ever forget your password? Just raise your hands who ever forgot your password. Oh, well, yeah, just like almost everybody. So obviously the apps, they need to have the password reset features for some reason. So even if you are using the password manager, which I guess that most of you do, then probably the app needs to have the password reset features. So the password reset mechanism can also be good for security of the accounts. I have one case from Czech Republic. It's a company called Jebim, and they do Jabber servers. They actually provide the Jabber service to the users, and they don't have automated password reset mechanism for some reason. You just cannot go to the website and reset the password for you, which might be a good thing, well, unless something bad happens. In December last year, they had a breach, they suffered a breach, and the attacker was able to access 125K of passwords stored in plain text. Wow. Fortunately, the data was not made public yet, so that's why Trojan doesn't have it yet in Have I Been Pwned. But maybe one day the attackers will leak it. They tried to sell it on some underground forums, but probably nobody was really interested in the data. So, Jebim had their reasons for passwords stored in plain text, like performance and legacy client support. And they also made some bad decisions, like they didn't properly separate the data. But let's just move on. They didn't have automated password resets. They could they didn't have the automated password resets just because they don't require the users to enter their email address for some reason, because of the privacy and I don't know what. So they say that if they don't require the email address, they don't have the address to send the password reset link to. That's obvious. But their password reset mechanism is manual. You need to write an email and say, hey, I forgot my password and blah, blah, blah. And they will reset the password for you manually. But that doesn't scale well. If you got like 100,000 of users sending you email that that they want to reset the emails for you, well, that just doesn't scale well. So, what could they do? And what they did. They could just reset their passwords for all the users and send them the reset links, but this is what they did instead. This was their, incident response. And that was it. They just issued a blog post and they said, hey, we have been hacked. You should change your password now. And that's it. So, some of my friends have actually lost the access to their accounts because, when you are sleeping, you don't read blog posts most of the time. And so these friends of mine, they just weren't quick enough to change their passwords. So somebody else did that for them already. And now they don't have any way to recover their account. And they actually said that they don't care because of the site having really bad and really poor security practices, that they will just leave it. So Jebim was losing customers because it's actually a paid service. So they were losing customers just because of security. They should just make the email at least optional. So if you make the email optional, state the reason why you are actually, why you want the email from the users. Just state whatever. Just, make the email optional and state that, hey, we need the email just because of this and this. So clearly state the benefits of adding 1 or 2 email addresses. So what should be the benefits? Well, obviously, we are talking about password reset, so, well, it should be a password reset. So, that the company or Jebin could send the password reset link to the users, and if they forget the password, or if the service is hacked, or if there is some security incident, they can just send the reset link to their email. That's pretty, quite clear benefit of adding an email address. So just a quick recap, how the password reset link should look like. It should be random, really random, not random. I mean random, really random. It shouldn't just look like random, it should be really random. It should be like 16 plus bytes of random data. It should expire in several hours, maximum 1 or 2, it depends on the service. And it should be usable only once. So if the attacker actually gains the access to the reset link somehow, then they can just use it in a limited time. They shouldn't just be allowed to use it forever. Also, the token should be hashed in the database when it's stored in the database. Remember, this is a token, this is not a password. First, it's limited in time, and it already has quite high entropy, so it's not user password. So it doesn't need to be hashed with the slow hashes. It can be hashed with slightly faster hashes like SHA-2 and this kind of stuff. It doesn't need to be hashed with bcrypt because it's just random data. Also, the email with the password reset link should contain some more additional data. For example, like the IP address and the city from where the password reset originated from. Because then the user can actually tell if it's just him. If it was him and who tried to reset his password, well, they should remember that, but, well. Or if it was just some colleague trying to prank him, or if it was some attacker from a different country. The email should also contain a link to invalidate the token, because, if you get spammed with a lot of emails with reset tokens, then probably something is going on and you want to invalidate the tokens as soon as possible. Sometimes some bad guys are actually abusing this password reset feature to see whether the user or whether their neighbor has been using the service as well. Yeah, thank you. I have that in the next sentence. So, if you are running a dating site or actually medicine site, you probably don't want to disclose as much information as if you are running a Facebook site. Most of the times it doesn't really matter because the attacker can actually try to sign up for the site with the email address of their neighbor, and they will anyway see if the address is already registered or not. So most of the times it doesn't matter, but if you are running a dating site, you probably should be doing something more for the privacy of the users. That could also be not using the email addresses for the sign up, but just the usernames, or for the reset flow, just the usernames, not the email addresses. One thing which is really important is to limit the number of attempts that can be made from a single IP address and from the and for the one username, so that the attackers cannot actually try to enumerate all the users from the site. Everything should be rate limited, just in case somebody is trying to dump all the data from the database using the password reset features. Here's what you should not do. You should not just regenerate the password or generate a new password and send it by email to the users. Because if you do, then if I'm in the office and I see that the guy in front of me is trying to log into a website, I can just go to a password reset feature, and right before he clicks submit or sign in, I can just reset his password. And he will be like, oh my god, somebody reset my password, so I will use this new one. And then I do it again. And I do it again, and again. So they will be somehow, the service of the site will be denied for them. So it's kind of like local DOS for them. So they cannot use the site and they will just go elsewhere. Also, you shouldn't be sending the original password by email back to the user because you have it properly hashed, so you cannot do it anyway, right? One of the most interesting ways of resetting password I have seen was this one. The token looked kinda random, but it was not really random. What they did was they actually took the email address of the user and they have encrypted it and then send it as a token to the user. When it was sent back to the site, they decrypted the token and then they found the user by the email address which was decrypted from the token. That looked kind of random, well, but unfortunately the site could be easily hacked and it was leaking the source code as well. So you can easily see the exact algorithm, how it was encrypted. Well, it was also leaking a configuration including the encryption keys. So anybody could just, generate their own token and they could reset the password for any user on the website. So just use a random token. I mean, really random token. The bad thing about sending the tokens or the password resets via email is this. This is from Google transparency report on email. And they say that slightly more than 50% of email coming to Gmail is encrypted using the star TLS transport security thing. That's just not enough. It should be like 100 or even more. Probably like 110% just in case. So even if you send the password reset link which goes to HTTPS on your website, then there is a high chance that the email will traverse the internet in a plain text form, so anybody can read the link or even change it for you. So this is not really good. So you can use this website, starttls.info, to check if your email provider uses StarTLS encryption or not. This is sort of like SSL Labs server check, but for email. They also got grades. They don't have A+, as far as I know. They just have A. But even if you score A in that test, in this one, it doesn't mean that the email is encrypted from end to end. It means that it's only encrypted when it's coming from the app to the server and between the servers. But it doesn't mean that it's not encrypted end to end. So even if you score a grade A in this test, your provider can still read the email because it's stored on their servers in plain text. And also, sending emails really depends on the DNS. So we can easily say that your account is actually protected just by DNS, which is also quite not really a good thing. This is what Facebook did. This is what Per was talking about already. This is how they try to get around the problem with email. They allow you to upload your PGP public key, and then it's sort of hidden on the website. So if you go to the contact info section, then you will see the link to PGP and you can add your PGP key. And they will encrypt all the notifications they send you. When somebody comments on your nice picture of your yesterday's dinner, then it will be encrypted. But they will also encrypt the password reset tokens and the emails with password reset tokens. So everything will be encrypted using PGP. So only you can decrypt that, not anybody who actually is able to access your email. Is anybody of you using it already? Okay, not much. But the question might be, who is using Facebook then? Okay, 2 more. Cool. So this is how they try to work around the problem with email, which is not encrypted. There could be some other options. For example, this of the record messaging library. This is a library which is supported out of the box in several instant messengers, well, except the Facebook one. And it does encryption, authentication, and perfect forward secrecy and everything. And this is also supported by, the library is also supported by Java and Python and C#, I think C only, and some other languages. So it could be used it could be used for delivering the reset tokens. You can just, create your contact on the server, and the server then can send to the user the reset token. The users need to be friends with your application, so that they can actually receive the tokens. But this is encrypted end-to-end. It's like a PGP. It's encrypted end-to-end, but might be slightly easier for the user, just because the setup on the client side is slightly easier. You don't need to generate key. You just confirm that there are some shared secrets, and it might be used. I actually wanted to build the proof of concept, but I didn't have time yet. But I have seen the API of the library. I've seen the Node.js API of the library, and it looked kind of like easy. So I will try to build the proof of concept, and let's see how it works out. So this could also be used. Other quite easy option for you would be to, or for the app, would be to actually disable the password resets completely. Because if you don't remember your password because you are using Password Manager, right? Then you just cannot forget your password, and then you can have this feature disabled. Just if you would implement it into your app, just be sure that you get the messaging right around this feature. Because if like a regular user would just disable a password reset, they will be screwed for life. But it could be one way actually to also protect the user account, disable the password reset features completely. In the ideal world, it would look like this, probably much better designed. But the application should provide selection of deliveries or selection of transports, how to deliver the token to the user, and the user would be able to pick one or maybe two. Now, first, it should be able to completely disable the reset token, the password reset feature, or deliver it via unsecure email, just for the regular user, or PGP email, for example, of the record message, or some other transport. Could be possible to add more transports, but the common ones, for example, like Skype, it's not really possible for the third party to, send the message via Skype, in the automated way, because Skype doesn't like it. You can try to hack their web interface. It's anyway a set of REST APIs, but they might change, so you just don't want to do that. And also one thing with Skype is that they are scanning the links which are being sent over Skype network. So if you would do that, you definitely want your token to be usable more than once, because they are trying to scan the links also for the previews. When you actually send the link via Skype chat, they try to make a thumbnail of it, so they just fetch the content. One thing you definitely want to do is to notify the users when the password was changed. Because if they don't know that their password was changed, they cannot do anything about it. Well, even if their password is changed by someone else, they cannot do much, but at least they know about it. So definitely the application should notify the users when the password was changed. Also be sure to get the messaging right, because if you tell the user, oh, we have just changed your password, and they don't remember that they did it 5 minutes ago, it's going to be quite bad for the user support. Might also be possible to, use the login verification feature, like the TUFA and two-step verification and this kind of stuff, to actually confirm the password change. Not just use it for login verification, but also use it for password change verification or something like that. But I'm not sure how this would work out for the cases like when the device is lost. So I'm not really recommending it right now, but it might also be a chance, especially if you are running the mobile application. For example, like Twitter, they have a website and they have a mobile application, so they could use it for password change verification as well, maybe. One last hint: if you try to store failed login attempts, because some companies actually do that. They think like, okay, when the user is trying to log in with the wrong passwords, we will store it into the database so that we can see if it's an attack or not. Well, usually users, if they are typing their password, they can just mistype it. And if they do, it gets stored in the database. And once somebody has access to the database just because of security vulnerabilities or backups getting lost, they can easily recover the password from just reading the failed attempts. It's quite easy. I guess that anybody would probably know the password, which was probably supposed to be here, right? So just don't do that. I have seen really quite a lot of applications that do that. I had the same idea 10 years ago as well. But I decided that it's not a really good idea. So please, when you are emailing users with reset tokens, just try to think beyond email and beyond HTTPS, so that we have more secure password reset things and features. So that's it from me. Thank you very much. If you have questions, shoot them. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's similar to what Facebook does also with your trusted friends and stuff like this, but this is probably, not everybody is Apple and not everybody is Facebook, so it cannot be used by everybody. That can be also used, that can just be used by Apple and Facebook, I guess. But yeah, thanks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah. It is, that's true, and probably it's more usable for the users than just PGP and using of the record, so yeah, true. Yeah. Well, we should also do it in a way that, we support all the users, but if somebody wants, more security, then they should have the option for that as well. It shouldn't be required, like the OTR or PGP, but for the users, like, all of us here, it should, the site should have an option to actually, make it more secure. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Oh. Yep. Well, the usability of that approach, I don't think it's that high because, yeah, sorry. If the, Yeah, if the site offers you to print out the codes during sign up, which can then be used for password for the account recovery, how do I feel about security and usability? Was that a question? Cool. So first, the usability. Well, if I print out something and just put it to a safe place, I usually forget where the safe place is. So I put it to my password manager, but I'm probably not like the regular user. So the usability of that is probably not that high. And also, if the site would need to change the process, for example, if they would need to retire that, then probably if they have 2 users with printed out codes, then they just cannot do that. So the usability of that, I'm not sure. And the security, well, it could be kind of okay if the tokens printed out are really random data. So, yeah, it probably also depends on the threat model. Probably you don't want to do this for your bank accounts, but you can do it for your Gmail, for Facebook and stuff like this. If that answers your question. Slightly.
Last question from Greg.
So to secure an OTR connection, you either have to compare thumbprints or have a shared password.
Yep.
So did you have any ideas for how to implement that in a scalable?
Yeah, I had an idea that the site would just display the fingerprint and you can just compare it somehow.
So over HTTPS, they would
yeah.
Okay.
Of course, HTTPS, everything on HTTPS, so that the user can see the fingerprint just once, or for 5 minutes or something, and they can just compare it and see that they are actually talking to the other.
Right. Good idea.
Okay, so we have to finish off there. Michal will be around, of course, for DEF CON as well.
Yeah, and for the after party.
And for the after party, so bring all the questions and give him a beer and a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you have ever put passwords